Holy smokes. So many freaking Teslas. What the heck? This video is brought to you by Nokian Tires, a leader in safety and sustainability. Maximize performance and efficiency with their made in USA all-season tires and their dedicated Hakkapeliitta EV winter line from the inventor of the winter tire. Learn more at nokiantire.com/EV. This video is also brought to you by Magna, forward for all. Hello and welcome to another Out of Spec Reviews video. You join me in New York City in an electric car, and I'm here to look at a few different types of charging in the city. The first I want to do is look at DC fast charging hubs. These are sort of centralized areas with many DC fast chargers to quickly charge up your car, and then you're good to drive for a week or two. The other solution I want to look into is AC charging. We're talking off-street parking and specifically curbside parking as well, with a program that Flow is doing in collaboration with Con Edison and the city of New York. I'm actually here to really film that story, but that will be coming in a few days. But today I want to look at some DC fast charging hubs provided by Revel. Revel, of course, is a large ride-sharing company, not sponsored, in New York City. However, I just pulled into this parking garage and I'm just blown freaking away. This is going to absolutely blow your mind. We're going to look at two Revel charging hubs of the many to come. And we're going to talk about maybe some of the differences between the two different fundamental ideologies of charging electric cars in urban areas. Do you want a lot of slow AC charging for overnight charging and while you're shopping? Or do you want centralized fast charging hubs to quickly juice up and go? And I think the answer falls with a mix. We need all different types of solutions here. And today we're looking at Revel charging hubs in Brooklyn. I am just blown away. We're always on the hunt for the craziest charging stations. Watch this video because I'm so freaking pumped of everything you're about to see here. Well, you joined me outside. It's super windy right now, and I'm at the entrance to one of the Revel fast charging parks here in Brooklyn. And this one's actually in a garage. So essentially they say they have public EV fast charging down the ramp. And my understanding is you get 1 hour of free charging. And this is a particularly busy time for the chargers because they're charging up a lot of their fleet vehicles. Although I was just talking to a normal user, a driver who charges his personal Tesla here often. He says it's usually not that bad. So it's a 3-step process. You roll up, you take a ticket from the attendant, you begin charging, and then when you're on your way out, you show your ticket upon exiting, and they let you roll. So great signage here to direct you over to it. Of course, like I mentioned, Revel is a rideshare provider, so they own well over 100 Teslas, maybe even more, and you'll just see a sea of them over here, just insane amount of cars. But I want to direct your attention down this way because now we're heading down towards the charging station, and Revel and Tritium have partnered together to create a, I would say, pretty impressive, ambitious goal of providing fast charging in the cities. So let's come down this way. Again, I already drove down here and parked my car down here. I guess I could put it on a charger, but they have built-in Tesla adapters here. But you'll see this is pretty interesting. So we have, this was the gentleman I was just talking to. He owns this Model Y, a privately owned car. The rest of them, they have some drivers upstairs that are just responsible for charging the cars. Now, my understanding is there are a couple units down right here. They said they have 4 chargers down. It just happened, and the service crews are on their way out here to figure out what's going on with those Tritium units that just went offline. The rest of them are ripping along. You can see stretching cables around. These are all pretty much Revel, of course, all Revel ride-shared vehicles here charging. And as an example, I guess this one's done charging. So I think one of the folks upstairs, they're shuffling all the cars around. This one, they charge them to 90% state of charge, it looks like, completed at 89. This one's ripping at 77 kilowatts at 74%. So this one's DC charging up. And yeah, really interesting to see. That Model Y is done. So I imagine they'll come and cycle the cars through, and there's so many more cars to show you downstairs. Now, this is interesting because they have the CCS adapters locked onto these REMA connectors. You can see, like, for example, these 2 cars are done. So I'm guessing all the folks who are shuffling all those vehicles upstairs, they have a process as to what needs to be charged. My original understanding was Revel just used Tesla Model Ys, but they're also using Kia e-Niros, although not very many of them in comparison to Model Ys. Here's out-of-spec Dave's Model 3 that I took down here to clog up a parking spot. But just so many freaking Teslas down here. It's insane. Wait till I show you this. Just a sea everywhere. Every floor is just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Teslas all around. It gets really close and tight through here, but yeah, oh my goodness, it just goes on and on and on. So let's look at the infrastructure a little bit more. You can see just an insane amount of cars, and see if we're maybe even able to charge up our Model 3 and talk about how that process works. Could be interesting. Down here doing some exploring. A very interesting thing just happened. These folks got actually stuck here in the Model Y when I showed you, and he said, can you get in my car and get me out of the spot? So I just drove his Model Y, and Austin powered it out of the situation he got it in with his wife in the passenger seat, which is got to be a little bit embarrassing. I don't know. But look at how many freaking Teslas they have stuffed down here. Some of them have trunks open. Wow, this is incredible. How many kilowatt hours are down here? Also, why no AC charging down here to charge their own vehicles? Like, all of these cars are only DC charged, which probably isn't a bad thing. So they have a 1200 amp main switch there. That's a juicy connector. Holy smokes. So many freaking Teslas. What the heck? So I guess back here is where they have all of the private parking for the people who live here. Nice Polestar 2 performance pack. And over here is where they actually, it looks like, do the wrap. So they have a roll of that vinyl over here and some of it on the ground, which is pretty cool. So yeah, this must be where they do all of the vehicle wrapping. And my goodness, there are just Teslas as far as the eye can see in here. This is insane. Holy smokes. Just hazards on some of them. Apply to be a Revel driver. That would actually probably be a pretty cool job. Drive a Tesla around, sit in traffic all day. Whoa. So if you guys are curious about how these Tritium chargers work, I did a full sort of in-depth video with some of the engineers on these chargers, and there's two different versions. There is a sort of charger all-in-one version that can charge an exact vehicle, of course, with built-in hardware. But then there's also just a DC dispenser version that runs essentially on a DC microgrid. So it's pretty interesting. Rather than, basically these stacks back here, the power cabinets will distribute DC charging power or DC power to each one of the dispensers. Then in the dispenser, they have a DC to DC converter that then matches the car's battery pack. What it means is you can infinitely share power between all of the dispensers here without having to go in like 20 or 40 kilowatt chunks. It's an amazing level of granularity so that you can truly max out your input connection from the grid. It's pretty cool. Again, I don't know why these two are broken, but the rest of them all seem to be functioning just fine. They're going to move a car. So this guy's Model Y that I just moved, they got him plugged in. They're going to move another one so I can put our Model 3 on the charger, which will be fascinating. But yeah, I really like Tritium's sort of DC microgrid solution, which is, I think they do like between 800 and 900 volts input power to all of these chargers are getting fed the same DC voltage from the cabinets. And then within the charger, they have another DC to DC to match the car's battery pack. And that is the magic of Tritium's sort of ability to maximize their grid connection. It's perfect for a site like this where it's really hard to get high power in some cases from New York City. So having this type of solutions where some cars might be full charge, some might be at the top of the pack, some might need full juice when you plug them in low, well, you can maximize everything right here. Pretty freaking cool. Let's move one of the cars. Let's get our car on the charger using the CCS to Tesla adapter that they have built into these units. Pretty soon, of course, Tritium will offer a NAC solution natively, which I imagine Revel's going to do rather than having to use this type of adapter. But I think it's cool how they charge them instead of 100%. They all seem to be completing at just about 90% state of charge, needing somewhere in that mid to high 20-minute charge rate, depending on when they come in. But that's a pretty cool thing. Not a cheap installation at all. This is next freaking level. All right, let's see what the customer experience is like. They're gonna pull these dead cars off. We're gonna get our car on and see how much it costs and all that good stuff. So the guys here were super cool and got us a spot. It seems like they prioritize customer charging and then charge their cars in between. So I've never done this before, so I'm just gonna click available. Press button to start CCS. Okay, connect vehicle. Now again, it says CCS, but it also says ESLA. The T is missing, but you can see they have the adapter built in here. So let's go in. It looks like they have it in a way where it's locked onto the connector here. And then it says tap your card. Okay, so I'll tap my card. And then it says use app or tap. So 49 cents per kilowatt hour plus tax. It says try another card. Maybe it doesn't take Amex. Processing swipe card. Okay, maybe it doesn't take Amex. Let me try a different. Okay, so I used my Apple card. It says processing. And it says card accepted, so maybe they just don't take Amex. That's not super unusual. And let's see, it says occupied, select connector, already did. Use app, already did this. So is it gonna go? It's still in the communicating phase. Select connector. I did. What the heck? English, yes. What? Oh no. All right, so I was just plugged into that one there, but the payment terminal just took a you know what, and so now they're down to like almost no chargers to get working. So it's sort of system meltdown over here. The driver in the Nero's at 99%, only getting 8 kilowatts. But let's unlock our Tesla. Let's try it now on this side. Oh my goodness, I said I'm only gonna charge, so it says 75 kilowatts because the other car is pulling, you know, that brick of power. So not sure what's going on there. I'm gonna do this. I'm not gonna tap my Amex, I'm gonna tap my Apple card. Although it says select connector. Now it says 49 cents per kilowatt hour. I'm gonna tap my Apple card with Apple Pay, see if it works. Okay, I have tapped the card. It says select connector, successful. Yeah, I think we're gonna charge, hell yes. And I said, I'm not gonna charge long. I really can just go use a supercharger, but I wanted to at least see this thing rip up. So again, they have screwed the connector into the REMA cable. So this is basically turned into a NACS cable at this point. I'm sure Revel will be buying NACS cables as they can. We're ramping up power. We'll probably get the full 75 kilowatts because this car is at 42%. There we go, ripping. And we are juicing. Now that's a pretty good experience when it works. Again, today seems like almost system meltdown over here at this particular hub with the payment terminals going, those Tritium units dead. I don't know what's happening, and neither do the guys here. The drivers are all like, holy crap, how are we gonna charge all these Revel cars? Fans are ripping on our Model 3 right here. But I do love how they prioritize the customer. I rolled in, and they said, hey, we'll do whatever we need to get you charging and go. But I'm charging here, we're good. This is where they store all the cars. I showed you all the cars. Let's go to the other hub and talk a little bit more about urban charging, DC charging, and some of the problems, challenges, and good ideas with this here. I have to say the installation is beautiful though. All the conduit running everywhere, the above ground conduit in the ceiling, it's all gorgeous. But yeah, now that we're charging, we're juicing, let's get out of their hair because we don't necessarily need to charge and rip. So we are just about to unplug. You can see we've racked up almost $1 of charging. Fairly expensive here, 49 cents per kilowatt hour, I think is what it said. Yeah, I guess it's okay, especially since it's mostly them providing a very expensive installation for their service here. So let's hit stop charging, at least in the car. I thought I hit it there on the charger, but we can do it here. Let me show you how. We'll hit the charging icon, we'll hit stop, unlock charge port. There we go. And we'll return the Tesla connector. I love how they have both, and we are good to go. The guy in the Nero's done charging, he wants to leave. So we are good to rock and roll. Into drive we go. We just freed up 2 more chargers for them, and we are off to the next location. Actually looks like there are service technicians already here booting up the other chargers. That is fast. So they have people on site here. Yeah, that guy's got a belt. He's here to fix some things, fixing these chargers over here. So they're booting up. They're currently red as in unavailable, but he looks like he means business with that belt. Oh yes. All right, also snack machines, drinks, love this. Should have mentioned that earlier on in the review, and a trash can. What more do you need at a charging station, especially in New York City where space is at a okay, we are pulling out, heading out now. There's more Revels coming in and going. Wow, just insanity here And yeah, let's rock and roll. Let's get out of this place and go try the other hub. This was hectic, and with all the chargers being offline, wow, we saw what could happen at the worst possible time. So it's only a 1.5 mile drive to the next Revel station. You can see another, I think that was the Nero guy who was full charging next to me. And I was talking to a guy as I was exiting who works for Revel, one of the drivers, and he spoke very broken English, but he was trying to basically ask and say, why do some personal Teslas not charge there and others do? And I had to show him, when you go into the menu, you need to make sure that the Tesla has CCS support enabled. If it has CCS support enabled, then it can charge on CCS stations. Older Teslas need a retrofit in order to charge on CCS. So I can see just here another Revel Tesla pulling out, I guess on the back side of where we're going. I don't know if we can actually get in through here, through the gates to get through, but either way, we'll just go around and in. My goodness, it takes forever to get anywhere in New York. You're just gridlocked. I don't know why people... why you even need charging here. It's not like you can even burn energy driving. You're just sitting all day. It's crazy. And this is looking more familiar now that we're on this side of the parking. I came here years ago to charge up, maybe 2 years ago. Oh my goodness, tons more Revels. And of course it's open for public charging. So let's get in here and see what's going on. But I came here years ago and talked about the site layout, how everything was planned, and some of maybe the future upgrades. It all kind of looks the same, but man, it must be so expensive to build here in New York City and in Brooklyn and an area like this. So anyway, pouring rain. Let's get in there, get a spot, get charging, see what that's like. Maybe they have the built-in Tesla adapters here as well. I think originally they were, oh, there's a Rivian R1S charging in there. Cool. All right. Revel is going all in. This is crazy. Let's go see if the chargers are working on this side. Based off how many Teslas I'm seeing here, I think the answer is yes. So here we are pulling in. Let's not run anyone over. Let's get on in. And there's a spot right up front and it says it's available. So let's back in and let's plug in. How about this? This is almost a full charging hub. This is crazy. Have to just do a quick adjustment and back we go. Awesome. And interestingly, they have one charger per parking spot at this install, it looks like, versus one charger for 2 parking spots at the main hub. So let's get out here. Let's see what's going on. So this Tesla here next to me is at 64%. This one, you can see there's Tesla and CCS. Nice that they put the Tesla on the side of the charge port at this particular one. They also have looks like chips and snacks and sodas and stuff. That's awesome. So I think it says select connector. Boom, did that just like before. Present card. Okay, I'll bring you through this with me real time. Put in my Apple Card. Processing, please wait. Card accepted. Removed card says successful. Gonna grab this one. Also drilled in so no one can steal the adapter. I love that they just screwed right into that thing. And we are going, contactors are going, and that is as easy as it should be. Now we're talking. Okay, so no issues at this particular site. Everything is just ripping. Now, why they have one station for each post, I'm not 100% sure why that's the case. You would think you would want, actually, are we charging 4 kilowatts, 13? There it goes, 30, 40, 50. So these are lower power than the other ones. The other ones were 150. So maybe just more dispensers, maybe the technology changed, because this went in first and then that parking garage was second. So it says this one's Uber. I can just see that written on the window, this Kia Niro. Everything else here, Revel Rideshare. R1S over this way looks cool. My goodness, there are so many freaking Teslas here. This is insane. A couple open spots, but for the most part, this is a full charging station, absolutely jammed. Wow. And you can see these ones are working. So they're 75 kilowatts, it seems. And so rather than 150. Yeah, so I guess they just did it this way. Cool R1S, that thing looks sick. Beautiful installation here. This is wild. So yeah, you can actually see there's only 2 CHAdeMO sites here. One of them has the old Tesla connector. Again, old Teslas can't CCS charge. So this is, I guess, if they show up, they can at least charge on this particular one with the CHAdeMO adapter built in. That one just has straight CHAdeMO on it. So yeah, but for the most part, it's CCS. Super cool. Love to see it. Beautiful install. All right, walking back over. Actually, one of the guys not here charging, but was a viewer, so just had a great chat with Antoine. He says this thing is just jammed full of Teslas all the time from Revel. So I guess they have a little washing station. So cool. Well, anyway, let's get back in the car and I'll share my thoughts on these DC charging hubs versus AC charging. And then stay tuned for that awesome video I have coming on the Flow street side charging stuff in just a few days. I think you guys are gonna love that one because we talked to the utility, we talked to the city. It was just fascinating. So back into the car we go, out of the rain. How are we doing on our charge? Let's take a look. 75 kilowatts, still ripping. Not the fastest thing, but in New York, it's not too bad. And most superchargers are the 72 kilowatt urban chargers. And you have to pay to park, and many of them are valet only as well. Like this one's pay to park. That's why people use these Brooklyn Revel stations, because they're free to park, and charging is not too dissimilar. Actually, charging here is 49 cents per kilowatt hour. The Tesla is 46 cents per kilowatt hour, but then you have to pay to park. So it's actually cheaper to come here, and you get another couple kilowatts over what Tesla's doing.